The latest global figures are how we start each and every night to highlight two things to you. Obviously, how many people currently have the virus, but equally importantly, to tell you how many people around the world have recovered from the virus. Latest numbers, 182,000 in a population of 7 billion. Yes, 7,000 deaths, each of them tragic, no trying to suggest anything else. 79,433 have recovered. Now, apparently the reason there is a bit of a gap between those two at the moment is because we're not getting any more numbers out of China. So all of those, a big chunk of those recoveries were based out of there, and places like Australia and the United States where the cases have been ramping up, well, clearly it's going to take a week or so for people to recover, so that number's going to lag a little. So it's going to feel like it's heading in one direction, but it may potentially balance out in the next little while. But I want to get to something before I get to the good, the bad, the ugly of the day in coronavirus. There are too many cooks in the kitchen. There are too many people telling us too many things, giving too many opportunities for a news-hungry media to try to make the most of the 1% difference between what this expert said and that expert said. There is, understandably, an absolute hunger, a thirst for information. But I think we are overdosing on it. I think we are having too many people giving us too many messages, too much throughout the day. My simple suggestion, and I don't care who gives this, but there has to be only 2 briefings a day. One that happens at 8 o'clock in the morning, can be seen while Australians are all over the country listening to breakfast radio or watching breakfast television. And then there can be another one at 4 o'clock in the afternoon going into the 6 p.m. news and prime time here on Sky News. Everything else should feed into those 2 events. Now, be it the National Health Minister, be it the Prime Minister, be it the Prime Minister and a Premier, be it the Prime Minister, a Premier and the Chief Medical Officer, I don't care what the combination is. But is anyone's life the better for knowing something an hour before that 4 o'clock general briefing? Probably not. Now, to give you an idea of how many cooks were in the kitchen today, now, I have not counted a phalanx of Labor MPs, freewheeling people in the political process, former high-profile doctors, former prime ministers. These are the officials that were talking today. From 7:45 this morning, all the way through the morning, all the way through the afternoon, until about an hour, 20 minutes ago, there were 15 media appearances by premiers, chief medical officers, health ministers, and multiple statements from health bodies around the country. Now, we live in an era where an excellent way to get out information is the way that it worked, say, with the bushfires. A scenario where you could have a singular app that can update things behind the scenes rather than a press release every 90 minutes from this state and this state and this state and this state, and have one organised and expected time for us to know what's going on. Because what is becoming tiring is not the virus itself, it's the obsession with the virus itself. It fuels those who say we have to shut down yesterday. We're on our way, but we're nowhere near winter. These people who I have dubbed, because many of them are, millionaire doomsday preppers in the media, it's fine for them to go back to their big houses where staff can take care of their kids and they can fly between Sydney and Melbourne to do TV appearances. But for Australia to lock down, that means 2 million casual workers will lose their wage straight away, let alone the small business owners who, of course, are the last ones to pay themselves. So Australia knows what's coming. Australia knows that things are only going to get tougher from here. But Australia needs a bit of a break. Australia needs a moment to breathe out. Because if you are hearing 15 times a day fresh, new, updated information about coronavirus, it's going to get worse at the shops. So I hope that people can put their ego aside. The ego of jurisdictions, the ego of electoral cycles, the ego of who should be in charge. The system is working very well, where there are 9 people sitting around who are running this system. The Prime Minister, the Premiers, the Chief Ministers. 5 of the 9 represent the Labor Party, 4 from the Liberal Party. So it's an even political balance. And I get it. There are lots of questions and lots of things that sometimes can be state-specific. I'm not saying a ban on all interviews with premiers, but the updates have to start to come to one spot and one spot only.